All right. Just to quickly follow up from where we left off. Okay. So today we do have the NFP coming in. Okay. Yeah. So there was some technical issue just now. Okay. So just bear in mind on the dollar related instruments, volatility would be there. And just so happened, this trade managed to get out before NFP, which is great. Okay. So just to walk you through this trade very quickly, it was actually set up on the Friday last week, and we kind of managed to get involved in it this week around Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. So very quickly, I'll just kind of do a recap on this particular trade over here. So this is actually going from the 4-hour time frame down to the hourly, right? On the higher time frame H4, what we saw is that the price is actually coming back down. Made a decent bounce out of the bottom of the channel, and overall the expectation is for price to eventually go higher, okay, to complete the WXY in the biggest three-way structure, right? So that led us to kind of focus on the buy trade setup, which means that on the lower time frame, we would like to be looking for opportunities and criteria that we can actually get involved in the upside, right? So just to very quickly backtrack a little bit, what we see before this trade got triggered, there are certain conditions that we need in our setup, okay, before we can put in the orders and pull the trigger. Now, a couple of things here you can see, the market on a lower time frame on H1, obviously is coming down, right? It's forming kind of low highs and then of course lower low. And over here, it's where the setup starts to build. Okay, we have this little low, right? You can see the market came down, made a little bit push up, and then made another move down, breaking that low. Okay, but what's interesting over here is after the market has broke that low, the price actually bounced back up pretty quickly and successfully closed above that high, right? So this is what we call a SMC model, where we have a liquidity sweep, aka some sort of a fake break, okay, and then the market kind of U-turn and close, okay, above that previous high. Okay, so this is where you have this model here appears, right? We have that sweep of liquidity, reverses, and then the market break above that high. Okay, and then of course there's a tiny pullback in the market continue with momentum to the upside, right? So this is where you can see we have the fake break and then a genuine move where the market actually push higher. So at this point in time is where we have all the conditions required. We also see that the market in this temporary pullback created what we call an order block. Okay, and at this point in time when the market was here, if it starts to pull back, retrace to the downside, this is where we can actually look for an opportunity where we have a confluence of the FIT 67 plus, okay, the order block over here. Okay, so that's where this trade was a pending element, and of course, just to play things forward to where we are today, we had a little bit of drawdown as the market pulls back, but eventually it just hits towards a direction very cleanly. Okay, and of course managed to take us out before NFP comes in, right? Which is great, right? Because personally, I wouldn't be looking to trade into the NFP. There's just too many volatility and uncertainty when a high impact news is released, right? Oftentimes you just want to be cautious. I mean, if there's a good setup, you can still take it, but the idea is you probably want to reduce your risk if there's a high impact news as well. Okay, now speaking of which, of course, we do have the opportunity to keep an eye on gold as well. Okay, so gold here, the direction and structure is pretty clean. Okay, overall we're basically looking at upside. And of course, if price can actually pull back towards a key area at 15618, that's why we're going to be looking out for the buy trade. Okay, so this is on the high time frame, very clear structure. On the lower time frame, we do have that conditions that we're looking at as well. where the price came down, okay, from this low, start to push higher, pulls back from the high low, and then manage to break above this high, right? So this is where we have a sequence of a high, 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 low. And of course, we do have this mini order block here as well, right? So very, very simple conditions and criteria. We have higher highs, higher lows. We have a bullish structure, okay? And if you kind of take a fit from swing high to swing low, sorry, swing low to swing high, we also see a very nice little confluence around the 67 fit, plus where the order block is. All right. So obviously this is a valid setup. If price can continue to pull back towards the zone, that's where we're gonna look to buy. But today, because of NFP, I would personally just stay out of it. Now, suppose if this just comes down like that and NFP, doesn't really move much, doesn't really blast through the levels that we're looking at, then the setup would be a valid one post NFP, which means going into Monday next week. This is definitely a setup that you can keep an eye on. All right, pretty straightforward over here. So for gold, definitely an opportunity and a trade setup to keep an eye in your watch list. Then we have crude oil. Okay, crude oil over here, pretty similar to gold as well, just to show you on a high time frame. Okay, we have bullish channel, price on the high time frame, kind of did a little bit of a liquidity sweep to the low, did a push up. So if it gets a pullback here, of course we have that confluence of the trend line. We'll be looking at upside. All right. Then on the lower time frame is where we have, again, you can see over here, okay, lows being taken out, but the market reverses very, very quickly. You get a shift, okay, a break of structure. We have a huge market imbalance or the block or parallel gap. So if you can get a pullback, where we have a confluence of the 67% Fibonacci plus the FVG over here, that's where we can look for the buy trade. Okay, so gold and silver actually is very, very similar, right? In terms of the setup that we have. Okay, and of course, if you're kind of looking to trade both of this, just bear in mind your risk exposure on the trades themselves, okay, because they are kind of a little bit related in terms of the dollar itself. Right, so the last one I have over here is the dollar Canadian, okay, which probably is not going to be something today as well. It's likely going to be going into next week. We have the NFP coming in anyway. Okay, so dollar Canadian, if I show you in a high time frame, what we are seeing over here, okay, is the diagonal structure, right? Where we have, this is on a H4, right? So we have the market coming down, okay, and then from here you can see it starts to slow down, right? Now, a diagonal doesn't necessarily mean you just want to jump in and trade it, but this is a sign that the market is exhausting and it's potentially reversing. Okay, so we need to, if you are more conservative, you want to wait for the confirmation where price actually move higher, take out this high, that's a pullback, and then start to look for upside, right? Alternatively, if you're a bit more aggressive, you can go down to the lower time frame and start to spot for early sign of setup, right? So in this case here on the hourly, on the dollar Canadian, right? What we have, again, you can start to see with this low, right? Marking him down, did a push up, break that low, but very quickly reverses, right? Kind of building up into the setup that I kind of mentioned on the dollar yet. Okay, so what we want to see over here, okay, if I kind of put this in labels, okay, we do have something like this. Obviously, what I would love to see is NFP potentially push the dollar Canadian higher with momentum, so we get a very, very clean break and continuation to the upside. Ideally, leaving some sort of a order block here, then that will be perfect, because when the market pulls back, taking from swing low to swing high, we'll get that fake confluence. Okay, so this is actually a very good example case study that you can see the development of this setup. It's not something that is completed, it's something that is developing, is building. Okay, and of course with that, you want to really see that move to the upside with NFP, right? Because if this just comes down with NFP, then this entire setup is not valid, and there's no trade. Right, so generally those are the three setups to look out for. I mean, dollar yen is more of a trade review, not so much of a setup anymore. But of course, moving forward here, the trade signals that you can look out for would be gold, crude oil, and the dollar Canadian. Okay, so yeah, we're going into NFP, right? So just take note of that. If you're kind of trading the news, all the best for the NFP news trade as well. Personally, I don't really do that. Prefer to actually just wait out the news itself before coming back to the market and see how the market is developing. Right, so that's all for me for today's update over here. All the best, and see you guys in the next one.